Welcome back to In Pursuit of Magic, where we explore the things that inspire us, connect us, and the magic we find along the way. I'm Matthew Medina, and today's very special guest is a talented singer, dancer, and performer, best known as a member of the popular all-girl pop group Boys World. Born in New York, she brought incredible energy, vocals, charisma to the group, and developed an incredibly passionate fan base. She's also built a strong presence with her music style and authentic connection with fans across social media. She's now venturing into new chapters and creative endeavors, doing what she does best, putting her heart and soul in every step she takes. I'm very excited and honored to welcome the brilliant Elana Caceres. Elana, thank you for being on.
Thank you for having me, Matthew. I'm so happy to be here and chat. And yeah, I'm just really excited. This is like my first interview in a very, very long time. So I'm excited, but we're
Yeah,
just going to chat. Like we talk about it.
exactly. Yeah, it's been a minute, and yet I feel like you never stop being creative and your passions are still where they lie. So it makes me very curious in terms of your first inspirations that made you want to be a performer at all. Like, what first drew you to that field?
Honestly, to be like 100%, I think watching Disney Channel. Like I'm not even gonna lie, I was a big fan of Hannah Montana. I had the blonde wig at home. Just all of the Disney shows, High School Musical, like those, that was everything to me. And I feel like it was if I had to choose, like, what my earliest inspiration was, it was just being such a Disney kid and watching that at home and just like, "I wanna be on TV too. I wanna perform. I wanna be like Hannah Montana." So, I feel like that was my earliest inspiration. I don't really have any musical people in my family, in my immediate family. But my first love was dance, actually.
Wow, so it's interesting, number one, because I have a similar love for the Disney Channel shows and getting me interested in storytelling and that kind of entertainment. But the dancing is also like a fun aspect to things, which I mean, you wouldn't tell that maybe you were new to the world of like professional choreography when you were in the group because you girls killed it every time.
Thank you.
So how was it like being able to like put that into action and really like learn moves?
I So I had a dance background. I started dancing when I was about 3 years old. I remember my mom, she saw me at a Halloween party for my school. I was probably like 4 years old, 3 or 4 years old. And I was just dancing all by myself in a corner. And that was the day she like went home and she was like, "We're signing up for dance class tomorrow." Like she was just in her own little world. She always tells me that story. And from there, I'd go to dance class every single day. I started competitive dancing, took a break, had to go back. That was my sport. That's what I enjoyed so much. And I did it for years. And I think that helped. It was a strength of mine in the group because I already had that dance experience. But performing on tour and for music videos and just having to perform and sing while dancing is just that's a whole other beast. Never done anything like that before. It was crazy. We'd train, we'd be on the treadmill and have to sing our songs, a whole set for when we were going on tour. It was just a whole 'nother beast. We had like a year of training before we even launched as a group. And it was dance classes like 3 or 4 times a week. It'd be like we'd take ballet, jazz, which was all familiar for me, but like I was doing it in LA and I had these new teachers and I was doing it with the girls and we were singing too. So it was just a whole nother world. And but it was nice to already have that dance experience.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like you have different chapters in your life for doing different things that kind of prepared you for the next thing, which was kind of cool.
Yes. And just like we had like movement coaches. It's really fun.
Yeah, they really prepped you. You know, it's I think that's why you guys were so good because you were just prepared for anything. And I say it with a lot of people who do Broadway, especially on tour, how you really have to be an athlete to do that. And I think the same thing with what you guys were doing. I mean, it takes a lot out of you.
It does. It really does. We would be so tired. We'd have dance class in the morning. I don't remember exactly because it's years ago now, but what the hours were like, but it'd be so long. It'd be like dance and then vocals with our dancing. And then we'd have vocal lessons right after that. So we'd get home at like, it would finish at night. We'd get home like past 10 o'clock at night but we'd be up, like, really early in the morning. It was just crazy, crazy schedules, but it was all training to be in an American Girl group.
Which is amazing to think about too, because I feel like there's the idea of what it is to live that life and to go through that training, and then there's the reality of it. And so I'm curious in your whole experience with the group, what do you think was the most surprising thing?
The most surprising I feel like in the very beginning, everything was just so exciting. Like I said, like, I was such a Disney kid, Hannah Montana. I those are my inspirations. That's what I wanted to do. So to do that in a group with girls and becoming friends, we had that bond. It was so special. Everything was so cool, and I've always wanted to live in LA, so it was perfect. Like, I felt like a little sponge. I was soaking everything in. But then as time went on, like, it is hard to be away from home. Like, I'm from New York, so that was really hard, just being away from family and having little free time. Like, everything it's not a 9 to 5 you clock into when you're in a girl group and an artist. Like, you can't just, like, clock out. Like, we were on social media, and we had supporters that looked up to us, and it was a 24/7 thing we're constantly thinking about. So I think that's what was the biggest surprise of like, "Oh, wow, like, I'm really in this." And yeah, it's hard sometimes.
Yeah, and it could be a lot. I know there's probably a lot of highs and lows and a lot of getting used to the new normal that you were living. And
Yeah.
then you have the flip side, which I'm thinking, what was the benefit for you of also being in a group where you could depend on the other girls and lean on each other? Because I can only imagine what it's like to be a solo artist and to kind of have to deal with all that.
Me too. I have so much respect for I mean, obviously girl groups, but also solo artists because I don't know how I'd get through it without the girls. Like, I started the group when I was 16, so that's really young and such formative years. We did that for what, 5 years. So it was just I can't imagine going through that without them. We were all away from home. We all only had each other to talk to about the ins and outs of, like, the music industry and rejection and just being perceived by people online and what people had to say, and we wrote music together. It was just so special, like, we fully, I think, trauma bonded, but also just, like, bonded, and yeah, I could not imagine doing it alone. We always had each other's backs too, so I don't have like, I just have nothing but good things to say about that time because I don't know, like, it's really hard to just explain and describe to somebody who's never been in a group, but you really form a bond that you can't really describe to other people.
Yeah, and I think it came through in your performances and even in behind the scenes where you guys were like a family. And you could tell that there was just a general love for each other and support, which was beautiful.
Exactly, yeah.
And that, you know, can be really beneficial, I think, when going through the harder times because the highs come, but so do the lows and the disappointments and the things not working out. And I'm wondering how you guys were able to manage that for yourselves and each other at the time, but also now after the group, you know, what have you learned from that experience where now when things come, you're able to deal with it differently?
Yeah, I dealt with rejection at a young age because, we can get into this later, but I used to do acting, and still now I'm dabbling into it again. But when I was, 10, I started acting, and I did that up until I was, like, 16 and had to I was in the girl group, so I had to kinda give that up for a while. But I remember I made it really close, like, very, very close for this one role. I don't know if I've ever said what it is, like, publicly, but I made it to the very end, like, they flew me out to LA. I had to sign the contracts and everything, and as like a 15-year-old girl, it was devastating to find out that I didn't get this because I was ready for my life to change, ready to move to LA, like, it was all I ever dreamed of, and right after that, only a few months later, I got the DM, and I ended up getting Boys World. So, I dealt with rejection at a young age, and I think that was such a big lesson for me that sometimes doors close because there's other things that you're just meant to be doing. And the universe just works in really weird ways, like, I was so ready to move to LA and get that acting role and, like, be in that world, but I still ended up in LA just a few months later. Like, it was always the plan, just being a music artist. It wasn't acting at that time, and I just truly feel like everything happens for a reason. So, when the group obviously ended and that felt like rejection because it was like, "Oh, we worked so hard." At first, I'm not gonna lie, it just I was upset. Like, I had so many feelings about it, and life changed after that because we obviously lived together and yeah, like, everything flipped upside down. But I've dealt with rejection before, and I just trust that everything happens for a reason. We had Boys World for so long. That was my baby. That was all of us. Like, that was our everything, our whole world. And it was just time for it to end. And I feel like I was bitter about it for a while and just looking at it through this lens of like, ugh, all we could have done more. Like, we could have done more. Like, why is this happening? Why would this happen? And then, yeah, but I'm still so proud of everything we've accomplished. And like now I'm talking to you and we're still talking about it. And I'm thankful for all of the memories, thankful for the experiences, everything that the group's given me. So yeah, but I genuinely deep down feel like everything happens for a reason because I've dealt with rejection for years.
I absolutely agree. And it's funny how, like you said, you started with the acting and then went to this, and now you're circling back again. But now also with like enhanced skills, more experience, all these kind of lived experiences, which is incredible. And I think
Exactly.
that experience too, now you also have like this family of support where you get to support each other and be there for each other, which is a beautiful thing. And I think you weren't the only one who was bitter. I was bitter when I saw the news. I was like,
That's
oh, yeah. But it also got me excited then. I was like, okay, well, you know what? They're all going to kick ass and do some incredible things. So I'm really excited for these
yeah.
next chapters. And it's clear that you're working towards that. And so I'm curious then, living the experience that you have, is there any advice you would give to your younger self when she was going out to try acting and before she even knew about Boys World?
Ooh, that is so hard. This question's always hard for me because, again, I just feel like everything happens for a reason. Don't change a thing, girl. Everything, everything is gonna fall into place. Like, just wait. I was crushed when I didn't get that role, but just a few months later, look, I got the group and I'm so grateful. That was exactly where I needed to be. I was meant to be Lana in Boys World, and it has led me to so many I mean, it led me out here to LA. It led me to friendships that I will treasure for my lifetime, and I met so many people through I the fans and the supporters we gained through Boys World, like, just the experiences, we got to, like, go to China and travel and music video sets, and met so many songwriters. I even met my boyfriend through it because he knew me through the group, so it's just like and one of my best friends that lives in Australia, she also knew me from Boys World. So I just I don't know if there's any advice I would give. I'd just say, hold on, wait up, and be present. Be present, spend that time with your family because I haven't lived in New York since, and that's always kinda in my mind too. I'm always like, "Do I move back?" But, um, yeah, I'm such a family girl too, and but you gotta make sacrifices.
Yeah, and be open to what the universe brings your way. I mean,
I
there's
believe that.
people who I've talked to who are like they didn't expect to take a left turn and do something else, so then they're doing it and it led to something even greater, and that happens a lot. And I think it's
Yeah.
funny your experience has just been so incredible, and your advice is also good because I've heard that a lot where people were like, "I think I would just tell my younger self to relax, like just trust
Just
it'll be fine."
I was so stressed during that time, and I remember I was, like I was getting ready because I was junior year of high school, so I knew college was coming up, but it didn't something did not feel right at the time about going to college. Nothing against college, I'm taking college classes right now.
Awesome,
Late, but not late. I don't believe in that.
your timing, yeah.
My timing. But I just it didn't f like, it wasn't in the cards. I knew intuitively, like, my gut knew it wasn't in the cards. So when I didn't get that role, I was like, "Okay, I have to start thinking about college," but I knew something else was coming. So, yeah, I we agree.
And I think that's the beautiful part about the middle ground you found, where you were like, you wanted to hold out and you're like, wait, let me trust my instinct, but also not lose my passion. But then you would also like just trust it too. Like trust that the universe has something in store for you,
Yes. There was
which I think
also
is very important.
there was also an element of just like, okay, I'm a dancer, I can act, and singing is for fun. So I doubted myself a little bit. Like, I always look back and everyone's like, "How did you do that? How did you move across the country from your family at 16 and, like, go into that?" And I'm like, "Well, at 16, what are you scared of? Like, nothing. You just go for it." Like, I'm more scared now. I'm scared for this interview today. Like, I'm more fearful now to do things outside of my comfort zone, but at 16, yes, I was like, "Wild, free, go for it." But there was also an element of, like, doubt because the other girls had, and I don't wanna speak for all of them, but, like, singing was more of their thing. Like like, for me, I just had all my eggs everywhere, like, acting, dancing, singing was for fun, I like to do musicals and, like, plays, but, I definitely doubted my abilities, so that's why vocal training also came in handy because that built up my confidence.
Which I think is a very normal thing to go through, and to doubt yourself. And I think partially your just love of doing it, just you just love to do it for fun, maybe is what added to the experience for you because you doubted yourself a little bit, but you were also just loving what you were doing. And I think
Exactly.
that's probably what ended up helping you in the long run because you clearly have an incredible voice, but you were doubting yourself.
Yes.
Well, it led to some great experiences. And I have to also wonder what were your biggest inspirations and motivations, not only through that process, but then after and even now?
Through that process, it was, like, my mom, my family, it was just all, like, I wanna make them proud, I wanna live my dream and do the things that they couldn't do or like, just live out my dream, and that was probably my biggest inspiration. And the girls, I feel like they inspired me so much within the group, I feel like we all learned from each other, like and in creative ways, but also just in life, like, I still make avocado toast the way that Lillian makes avocado toast, and we still live together, by the way.
That's
But it's
awesome.
like yeah, like, we just learned it felt like my college, honestly, living with girls, but getting to, like, live the dream, which is be in a girl group and sing and dance. But, my inspirations now is just anyone that I come across that's just authentically themselves. Like, I love authenticity, I love creatives, and just people who you can tell that they love what they're doing. And I doubt myself, like I said, over the years, I feel like I doubt myself a lot more now, and I'm not perfect. Like, some days I'm feeling super creative and I can do it all, and then other days I'm like, "Oh, it still gets hard." Like, "Wow, I was living this life and now it's just totally different." So, not every day is perfect, but yeah, I love people that are just authentic and not doing it for not that you can't do it. Like, obviously, people like to be creative and make art for money as well, and,
Yeah.
you have that in mind, like, "Oh, I wanna make a career out of this," but I love when people are doing it for themselves and just, like, you know yeah,
Yeah. And I think that's really important. I think even your experience with feeling that loss of when you have an experience and you're with a group, um, I can relate a little bit because when I was a teenager, I was part of a drama group and was the youngest one in the group when I was really, really young. And then I got older with them and grew up with them. And we bonded and really formed a close knit group. And when that ended and things kind of fell apart, everyone moved away or we're getting older, it was hard. It was hard for me to process that and to deal with that. And then also wonder about who I am and where I fit in and what I can do. And Yeah, so I completely get that, and it's beautiful to see that you guys still have each other and are helping each other navigate the next chapters for each of you. And now you're in a place where you are finding inspiration all around you. And I think that authenticity is such a major part of that. You know, I see it on your page and I see it with some of the people that I interview. And I think that's the beauty of kind of what I wanted to do with this podcast also, where I wanted people to be inspired by the people I'm inspired by and to know that their experience is not a unique one. They're not alone. We're all going through this and finding our way, and that there's ways and we can learn from each other. So I'm glad that you're sharing your journey because I know people will learn from that and be inspired by it. And it's super important, I think, also to be honest about it because everyone likes to show their successes on social media, but not the process behind it. How do you get there?
Yeah. Everyone likes to show the good stuff, including me sometimes, but that's why it's good to talk about the downsides of it because it's very confusing, especially in this transitional period for me of like, yeah, it's hard.
Well, I think you're also in a building period, which is awesome. I think that's part of the fun. And I've been learning from other people to call that part of the process and part of the work and finding the joy in that process, which it doesn't always feel joyous because there's going to be hard days, like you said, because I go through that too. I also still get nervous before I do interviews. So all that stuff is very normal, I think. Um, but it is, I think when you look back, you're going to look at the process and those moments as some of the best moments because you learn a lot about yourself. And I know that you've been in that process right now. So what do you think is the biggest thing you've been learning about yourself so far?
The biggest thing, hmm, let me think about this one. Well, this is just like random, but I started taking college classes again. That was something that I didn't do while I was in the group because, like I said, it was my entire life was dedicated to Boys World. So now that I'm out of it and have been for a while now, it took some time to adjust. Like my whole life changed. It wasn't just Boys World ending, it was like living on my own. I live with Lillian still, but it was just like finding the groove to things. It felt like the rug was just taken right under my feet. And now I have to adjust and pivot and learn to adapt to this new world. So that took some time, but once I started getting the hang of things, I was really excited to like live normally, if that makes sense. Because for those years from like 16 to 21, tho those are such transformative years for me, and it was all dedicated to like the group Boys World music. So it was kind of fun to like live in my apartment, decorate it the way I want, have more free time, work like some jobs, like figure out how I can make money. Like, I don't know. And I say fun, it was also incredibly stressful. But I learned resilience. That's something I took away from it, and Lillian says this to me a lot, but, like, you just have to learn how to pivot in life, and yeah, that's exactly kinda what happened, so I learned also that, like, yeah, I do wanna take college classes, that's something I had to put on hold, and I wasn't really thinking about, or acting, like, I really was very passionate about acting before music, that was my first love, and now I'm in LA and Boys World ended, so I have the freedom to pursue that again and maybe take an acting class if I wanted or try and just audition for things. So I'm still getting there. But yeah, I just learned resilience and it's okay to pivot and it doesn't mean you failed. I don't feel like I failed. If you asked me a few months after Boys World ended, a different answer, I'd probably be really hard on myself. But which I don't know why, because it wasn't even our fault. Like, I'd probably be more hard on myself. But now I'm just so proud. Like I said, I listened to Caught in Your Love the other day. I could, like, listen and be nostalgic, look back at the music videos, and I just feel so excited and proud about it.
And you should be. I think it was such a great group and put out great music, and you guys were great together. And the fact that now you can take that energy and that love and support and channel it into what each of you are doing in your lives is an amazing thing. And I think you're in an exciting chapter. because you're gonna do different things, you're gonna try new things, and you're never quite sure what's around the corner, which I think it can be very exciting. Scary sometimes, sure, but exciting.
Exactly.
And part of that process, you said was getting back into acting. And so are there any types of like genres or roles that would really appeal to you?
I would love to be on a Netflix show or or just a movie of some sort. Like I've auditioned here and there and like did little things, like just very, very little tiny things. But yeah, I just need to keep going and taking more acting lessons. I've been out of the game for a while. Like it's been a while and acting in New York was just very different. I feel like I had it like I was doing it for years, felt more comfortable. I had my network of people. I was taking acting classes. Like I just felt so comfortable in that. Whereas in LA, it feels so competitive. I feel like I'm out by myself with the wolves. Like I don't even know where to turn. Um, Music, I know about music, but acting, I feel like I'm learning again.
Yeah, and I feel like it's constantly changing too. I mean, people have said even since the pandemic, like it's changed a lot.
Exactly. So I feel like I'm starting from scratch, honestly.
Well, within that process, you're reconnecting with yourself a lot. And where do you find the importance of not only reconnecting with yourself, but deciding where you find joy and fulfillment?
I I just need to I feel like it's all about putting less pressure on myself to do what I think people want me to be doing or expect of me. Like right after the group, I was like, okay, I need to just start my own solo music right away. I mean, yeah, I was just thinking of that kind of immediately because that's what's expected and but I had to what does Elana want? And it was to take a pause because I had just been doing that for so long and I need to get my life together and I need to just be a normal human being. And I was already dealing with so many emotions and feeling very sad and anxious about what life was gonna bring me. And it was just all a lot. I was deciding whether I was staying in LA or moving back. It was too much. So I think it's about blocking that noise out sometimes of just what you think people are thinking of you and caring about what they want and think. Like sometimes we just need to remind ourselves nobody cares that much. Like listen to what you want because nobody's living your life besides you. Like you need to make sure you're happy. And music will always be a part of me. I'm not saying I will never do solo music. Literally not even saying that. But I had to think about what makes me happy. And for me, that was like doing more acting roles and like trying things that I had to give up for a while.
Yeah, now you have that like freedom of your schedule, of your mindset, of all of the above, which I think is really important. And I think, like you said, separating what you wanted versus what you felt was expected of you was huge because I think with your time in Boys World, a lot was expected of you.
Yeah,
And now you get to decide for yourself, which is really cool.
exactly. And I also really love social media and I was kind of doing that for a while. Like I had like a talent manager and I was posting more and just doing brand deal stuff. And that also made me feel really creative or doing social media for other people. And like that made me feel fulfilled. Like, oh, you're getting some engagement. Like that's all stuff I kind of took away from Boys World too, of just, yeah. So
It's amazing the experiences you could take from different things and use them for other things, which is why I'm a big believer in like every life experience trains you for what's coming next, which is really cool.
I truly believe that too.
And also what you said about like worrying about what other people are expecting or thinking and then realizing no one cares. It's really funny because I was just speaking to someone who basically gave the same advice. He was like, stop playing. No one cares. Just do what you need to do.
And if they do, I don't think they should. Everyone
Right.
should just want you to be happy if they really love you.
Exactly.
Sure.
And yeah, no matter what you end up choosing to do, I think yeah, the real people are gonna support everything you do, which is really cool. And I think you have that fan base. I think a lot of the people who love that group, want that. So I think it's amazing that you're not only finding yourself, but keeping your passions, but you're deciding how to put them in action, which is really awesome.
Yeah. I do feel like I have some core supporters still that I know them, and I think they'd want me to be happy too and care.
Exactly. Which means like whatever you put your mind to, you're gonna have support behind you, which is a really cool feeling to have. Especially at you started at such a young age, and now you get to go through this process when you're a little older and have support behind you, which is really cool. Mm. And I'm thinking about that time living together with all the girls in Boys World, and there must be a lot of funny, chaotic moments. Is there a specific memory that stands out as like just rent free in your head all the time?
Oh my goodness. There are so many moments. I remember when we this was like early days we were living, um, and the group wasn't out. It hadn't launched yet. So this was all just getting to know each other, period, training, hardcore training. And we had this house and there like we lived deep in like suburban California near the mountains. Like there was bears. So one time there was just a bear that walked up to our front door that we saw near our window, and we all just it got so chaotic in that house, screaming, fire alarms were always going off, we were constantly burning our food. It was just pure chaos, but, like, funnest times of my life, honestly.
Yeah,
So many
those are
fun
the
times.
ones that will stay like in your head forever, like those kind of
Yeah,
memories.
I'll still some of the girls, and we're just like we every time we meet, we'll talk about some time of ours that we could remember that was chaotic and fun.
Which I think is one of the best things you get to take away from it, which is some incredible memories that makes you excited for the future and creating like new memories and lived experience, which is really cool.
Yes.
And being part of a girl group, there's a lot of girl power energy and a lot of strength in that. And just as a fun question, if you could create a supergroup with any three artists, past, present, any genre, who would you choose?
Supergroup with any artist past okay. You know who immediately came to my head? Zara Larsson. I don't know why, she just immediately came to my head, and I do love her music, but I think I just love her energy, I love her personality, she seems like such a light to be around. So I'm just gonna say Zara Larsson. Ariana Grande is my girl, I literally just saw her in concert.
Awesome.
And then I'm gonna say who else? And a third, okay. This is hard. I'm gonna say Amy Winehouse. I always go back to I love Amy.
That's a good combo too, the three of them.
That's so random, but, like,
Yeah.
I'm with it. That just
Now
came to
I'm
my
curious what that would sound like. I'm excited. That would be really awesome.
I don't know what that would sound like.
And like we mentioned, you're also from New York. So I'm wondering, what do you think is the most New York thing about you? But when it comes to pursuing your dreams,
Ooh, most New York thing about me when it comes to pursuing my dreams? That is a good question. That is a really great question. I don't know. I have to think about this. Hmm. You know what it is? Sometimes I am born and raised in New York, 16 years, my family's there, but sometimes I'm like, "Oh, I've been here so long. Am I losing it?" I know I'm not. I know I'm not, but I don't know. I think there is a little bit of, like there's just a touch of edge or swag that you get when you're from New York, born and raised, and I'm hoping that I bring that everywhere with me. I don't know. It's just an aura. I don't think I fully have it anymore, but my friend told me the other day, she was like, "No, you have something. You have a hint of New York still, don't worry." So I'm hoping I bring that still into anything I do.
I
Maybe I
think
need to
so. I think you do. And I think part of that is also your perseverance. I mean, I think that that's a very New York thing.
You're so right. They're ready to pivot at any moment.
Yeah. They just keep going. Like they find new things all the time. So,
They find new things all the time. You're actually right. I actually wanna steal that answer. That my
yeah.
perseverance.
Remember that about yourself because other people see it about you.
Yes, just being ready for anything. Let's move
Yeah.
on, let's try this. Like, yes, that is very New York.
Which I think is super important. And another skill, which makes me curious about one unexpected skill or lesson that you learn from being in Boys World that you're applying to your life now.
Oh, into my life now? See. I would say just like I had to communicate with a lot of people and meet so many, whether it was industry people or other artists, songwriters, and just work with them. And I think I always gave like a really good vibe that I brought into any room that I was in and just very friendly and always open for ideas. I feel like I'm very collaborative with people. And I think I still carry that with me. I do think that's like a strength of mine, but also the group taught me that even more. How to talk to people in the industry and creatives and just share ideas and be passionate and just be bubbly and always enter a room and, make eye contact, be kind, remember people's names. That was a big one. Remember people's names. And I think that that's something I'm taking with me wherever and in whatever I do.
One thing that's so amazing about that answer also is it made me think of Disney Channel and your love for it and wanting to be on because they have such good media training. And they talk about it all the time of how they have to train for that stuff.
Yes. I actually got told yesterday that they were like, "Have you done media training?" And I'm like, "I don't know if is that a bad thing?" They were like, "No, it's not an insult at all, like, you just you just think about what you're saying." And I'm like, "Okay, I hope so."
But yeah, I mean, I think it's a skill set where you get to still be authentic and genuine, but choose what you're going to say carefully and make the other person feel seen and heard too, which can often be difficult, I think. Especially when you're not always dealing with the most pleasant people. Sometimes they're unpleasant people and not the nicest, and you got to deal with that.
It's true. I've dealt with that.
And if you could go back and do any of your music videos or performances with an unlimited budget and zero nerves, is there anything you would change? In hindsight, with keeping in mind that you wouldn't really want to change anything, but just for fun.
Right. Unlimited budget? Need that.
And
Um,
features, if there's anyone you want to feature on it.
oh my gosh. Wow. Okay. I really love our song "Relapse." It's like a ballad, and it was on our I have such a soft spot for that song, and the video's nice. I love the video, no shade. The video's great, but if we had, like, an unlimited budget, we could go all out. I wish we could have had Ariana on that song. Yeah. Unlimited budget, just go crazy, go nuts. I was gonna say I also really love, "So What," but there's nothing I would change about that video or anything I'd change that song, like, there's just nothing I would change. So I'm gonna go with Relapse, and, yeah. Ooh, but performance-wise, No Nerves, probably, like, our very first, live performance.
What location was that? Because I know you guys did some performances here in New York.
Yes, we did. When we went on tour, we actually performed in New York, and it was a sold out show. Our first, like, live performance in LA was for, like, family and friends type of thing, and it went great, but I was so nervous. Um, and then, yeah, we performed in Canada, like Toronto, China. Was also really nervous for that. But, like, as you do it more, you get a little less nervous.
Little, yeah. But it's so funny, like, each performance was so different and so iconic that I think those performances themselves had a following, and even the behind the scenes of you guys doing the choreography in the studio, like, was really cool to see because the music video will cut some of that off, but you don't see the full choreography. So to be able to see that was really cool.
Yes, I also wish Pina Colada had a way better budget, sorry.
Yeah, there could have been a lot more done,
Could have been better.
but it still hit because it's a good song.
Thank you.
And it's funny you mentioned "So What" because that's one of my other favorite songs. To the point where I almost asked you to do a teaser with that song because it's so good and it's such a summer song. That's the other thing.
Such a summer song, and just being on that set that day, oh, it was magical. I think we all cried once we wrapped because the energy
I was gonna say it looked like a lot of fun to film.
but it was outside, but yeah, it was perfect. It was so fun. Such a
Yeah,
great
you could tell like it showed on the screen like how much of a blast that was, and I'm sure like You guys did a lot of hanging out, and was there, like, karaoke nights?
Oh my god, there were many nights. Karaoke nights, just, like, game nights, like, we Love Island nights, just in the living room. It'd be really fun because you can just be like if you're bored, you just go to the living room and you have somebody to watch something with or, like, sing with.
What do you think was your go-to karaoke song? Both then and maybe now?
Oh, I just did karaoke literally recently for Lillian's birthday, and we did a duet. It's always Disney. Anything Disney, High School
Yeah.
Musical, Gotta Go My Own Way. Um, I think we were Gabrielle and Troy, yeah. Anything Disney is my go-to, or, what else? Or Amy Winehouse.
It's another big one, yeah. Yeah, and I relate to definitely the Disney tracks, when it comes to karaoke because 'cause I'll know those hands down, like, back of
Yes,
my hand.
also Wicked.
Oh,
Wicked is
yeah, Wicked's another one.
too. Yes, any
Well,
Wicked
it makes for
tracks.
some yeah, well, I mean, the whole album is incredible. What's your favorite one, though, from the album?
Defying Gravity.
Oh, yeah. You
It
can't not. But in terms of your experiences also, I'm wondering, were there any fun moments of, like, fighting over the last snack? Or, like, a meal that you guys love that to always make?
I would always make these, like, breakfast burritos, eggs, peppers, onions, that would just be my go-to, and I made it for I think we have a YouTube video on our channel, or we did a video, and it was a day in my life, and I made it for the girls. That was really good, and then for the last snack, like, it was always just, like, chips and salsa. We'd share, but everyone kinda had their own food. I feel like we all cooked for ourselves. Maybe not in the beginning, though. I think we all did, like, group grocery shopping, and then after a while, we were like, "That doesn't work. Let's just buy our own food."
You guys worked out a system, which was great.
We worked out a system for but there were a lot of, like, nights where we'd order Uber Eats or DoorDash and ice cream, all that. Taco
You can't
Bell.
not. Oh, well, Taco Bell's the ultimate meal to get when you're hanging out.
Yeah, it's still the meal.
Yeah. Same, me too. It's my weakness. Well, I have to ask then also in terms of what advice you would give to other people who have a dream, no matter what it is, and are overwhelmed by the size of it or are doubting themselves. You know, they're going through imposter syndrome or they're wondering how do they even get from A to B. What would you tell them?
I would tell them, like, never lose that fire of passion in your heart for what you love and always stick to your why. That was something in the group that we were always told repetitively. It was like, what is your why? Why are you doing this? And if it's because you genuinely love that, if you love music, if it's therapy for you, if it got you through a dark time, if it makes you feel happy, or if it's acting or dancing or whatever your dream is, drawing, always just remember your why because it's going to be really hard sometimes. You're going to probably sometimes face rejection, doubt, other opinions. Um, just always remember why you're doing something. And I'm pretty sure it'll come back to like, because it makes me happy, because it's this. And just never forget that. And then you'll get far. I truly believe if you do not give up on something, you can get far, whatever that is.
I think part of the beauty in that advice is also another question that I've often had for myself and other people have brought up, which is how do you define success? And one person suggested that you define it before you get there. And I think that's the why, like you said. I think if you understand why you're doing something, you're already successful because you're doing it. You're doing the thing.
Exactly. Yeah. And be ready to pivot. Sometimes, you expect something to go the way it's planned in your head and you have to pivot. But as long as you still stick to that thing that's making you happy and bringing you joy, like it'll work out. No. Can you see me?
Okay, we're back. Yeah, I hear you. Now you're back.
I'm sorry. Of course that would happen.
Okay, you're freezing up a little bit. Let me see if I do this. Let I'm gonna refresh.
Okay.
See. Okay, wait, hold on. Okay, now you can hear me? Okay, we could hear each other
Yes,
and
I can.
see each other, I think. Okay, good.
Okay, good.
Uh,
It's not so
okay, so we could pick up to what was the last thing I heard? I think I heard most of what you were saying.
I think so
Um,
too.
yeah, I could just edit out where it started to freeze. But no, you're right. I think in terms of how you define success and knowing the why is so important. And it feels like you know your why and you knew it back then. You knew it when you were doing the acting, you knew it when you were in Boys World, you know it now. And I think that's so important to keep your fire lit and to keep going and to pivot, but also explore. I love that you are searching yourself for your creative endeavors, but you're also taking classes and living life. And I think that's huge because you need to do that in order to know what your next step is going to be and what you want it to be because you get to be in charge of it.
Yeah, and I feel like living life, being present, figuring out, exploring also gives you more inspiration too for your art.
Yeah, and you need that. I think it will show itself in what you're creating and what you're a part of. And you never stop creating. I mean, you're online, you're creating stuff all the time, which is incredible. And in terms of that magic, I have to ask then, as my final two questions, where do you find magic in the world? And how do you hope to create magic for others?
I find magic in the tiniest things. Like, I know you've been hearing this probably everyone's talking about like whimsy, like it's important to be whimsy and keep it fun. And I feel like, especially in our world right now and through dark times, it's important to just find magic in the little things, like someone waving at you across the street or just like talking to a stranger. Like, all of that can also just give inspiration creatively. And I don't know, like just finding magic in the little things and constantly exploring your favorite artist who inspires you. Yeah, keep it whimsy and fun.
Which is important to find that everywhere because I think you need that daily. You need to see the magic that's around you. And then I'm wondering, how do you hope to create magic for other people?
I hope to create magic for other people by just giving them a safe space. That's also something that I'm really looking forward to. I one day like want to create female centered spaces.
And I think that's really important and a huge endeavor. And that's a beautiful idea too, which I could fully see you doing. I think you're very natural at creating safe spaces and making people feel comfortable talking to you.
Thank
Like we
you.
said, you still get nervous about things. So do I. And talking to you for a few seconds, I was already at ease. So you have that in you.
Thank you, me too.
And thank you for sharing your magic and coming on because hearing your story and your inspirations and what is driving you and what you're doing next is really exciting and really inspiring. And I know that you have a big fan base, and I know that you're going to get more people supporting you in everything that you do. So thank you for being on and being a magic maker and sharing that. And before we wrap up, I always like to ask my guests to say their name and let everyone know listening to go out there and do some magic. Everybody, till next time.